images of each, representing each of the three themes. We started with, whatever that is, 192 different images, and we quickly realized it was an exhibit we wouldn't want to see because you also have to be realistic. Like, there's so much other fantastic work going on in the gallery, and each one is going to demand the attention and should demand the attention of everyone who comes. And so in the end, I think we started with an idea of showing a lot more, and in the end we decided to distill it down to, like, let's be realistic. Somebody comes, they have 3 minutes, and then if we're lucky they take a postcard, and on the back they can read more about what's going on. But they can kind of get in, see it, that's great, and then move on to, the next thing, which is also going to demand their attention.
Exactly, but it's very digestible, and yeah, as you said, if they want to have more information and take it to the next level, it's there too. It's easier. So I wanted to ask, and this is a good time to segue, but could you go a little bit more into sort of the firm's DNA overall, your own personal, design intent when a client comes to you, or when you're sort of just in your own headspace, and you're working together.
Yeah.
What sort of have been either your favorite projects you've worked on, or just generally, can you describe your MO?
Sure.
Sets you guys apart together.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really begins with it being a collaboration. So there is 2 of us. We don't have anyone else helping us at the moment. So, which isn't to say, of course, every project becomes a collaboration as you work with a contractor or you work with a fabricator. You work with the client as always a very active participant in whatever the project is. But as an office, it's really just the 2 of us. And we've discovered over time is really a strength, because it's always that one of us runs away with an idea and gets super excited, and then the other one instantly falls into the role of interrogating that idea and taking the critical role and saying, like, but why is that exciting? Why is that interesting? What are we trying to say? And it always flips. It's never one of us in the one role and the other in the other, but we always kind of play this game of almost good cop, bad cop with each other. And I think whenever we look at the projects at the end of the process, it's always really comes out how essential that is. I know I'm always amazed at the end of a project. I always look at it and I think, oh wow, if Julia hadn't been there saying, but why are we doing it like that, and let's do it more like this, and having these 10 good ideas, the result would be so much worse. And I hope that she's probably saying the same thing to herself also, that that I'm equally bringing something to the table, and together the work is much stronger.
And it also kind of, in a sense, allows you to really claim ownership over whatever the final result is, because it truly is.
Yeah, and actually it's kind of fun sometimes at the end of the project, like one of us will remember, like, oh, but that was your idea to begin with. And then sometimes we'll be like, but who had that idea? And it will not at all be clear. And I think that's a good mark of the success of our collaboration, that 1, for sure, it doesn't matter. But 2, that half the time we can't even remember. Like, it just, at some moment, the work becomes a very true collaborative effort, and it gets strengthened by both of us.
Can I also ask, just because it seems like it's really been a part of who you guys are from the get-go, but now this whole concept of, community impact design is so buzzy right now, and that's great overall, but what's your theory on how to keep it sort of genuine, organic, and really touch and be democratic for architecture, really touch the community in a genuine way?
So I think that's a really interesting question, and that's something, of course, because that is, I guess, buzzy, as you say, that comes up a lot in almost every project now, looking for a sort of broader social engagement. And I think we really have 2 takes on that. One, the finished work is what we're hoping is socially engaged. So what I'm trying to say is that, like, every project has a life, and we're kind of instrumental to that life at the very beginning of the project. But, like, there's a moment when our role is finished, but then the project lives on. And then if you think, I guess time would be one way to look at that. Ideally, in the scale of a project, the time that we're involved is actually very short, and the life of the project is